I wrote the lyrics to Mindlessness during a trip to New York City, and I feel like you can kind of hear the energy of where I was at in Times Square in the lyrics of the song. I was sitting on the red steps, and amongst all the chaos, out came Mindlessness. Lyrically, the song goes between two concepts. First, I sing about being lost and ultimately drowning in a body of water. And then the story develops to speak about my experience with social media. And even though I'm talking about something that nearly everyone has experience with and an opinion on, it was important to me to only speak about my experience. For example, in the pre chorus, I sing, I see the light through bloodshot eyes. This thing's controlling me, this mindless machine. I'd like to complain, but in the end, I'm the one to blame. And then in the verse, I sing, as I drift out across this lonely sea, my head's underwater now, forgetting to come up and breathe. Ultimately, the song ends with my best rock and roll diva impression where I do a vocal run and then I begin screaming the last line over and over again, each time getting more intense until a final blood curdling scream. Now let's take a deeper look into the instrumentation and production of Mindlessness. So the track starts with the main riff and a drum solo, but the drums are heavily EQ'd and modified to kind of sound like they're coming out of a phone speaker. When you solo this, you can really hear the effect. The guitar is even crazier. It crackles a lot, it's nasally, it's a pretty harsh sound. To add to the chaos, I've recorded myself hitting a keg with a steel pipe and layered that with the drum fill. This, of course, was a tip of the hat to Slipknot. All of these things allowed the song to really hit you over the head when it finally dropped in. When the verse finally comes in, the song pulls back a lot and you're left with a single guitar, but it has a phaser on it. So this creates a lot of movement, even though there's only a single guitar. This is layered with a tom groove and a driving bass line to keep the song high energy and pushing forward. Since the verses pull so far back, the pre-chorus is able to really start building momentum and tension leading up to the choruses. It starts with about a dozen guitars stacked, just playing a G power chord. But one thing I love is that there's a synth guitar that we created by combining a bunch of pedals. And even though it sounds kind of like a keyboard, it's actually a guitar. The choruses really come in with some attitude and propel the song into being a high energy rock tune. But one of my favorite things is halfway through the choruses, this cool harmonic accent that all the instruments come in and hit at the same time. When the second verse comes in, I knew there needed to be some growth and some development, but I wasn't initially sure where this needed to come from. The guitar's the same on both verses, the melodies are the same, and so what I ended up doing was adding a second drum groove to kind of give it some more movement that might not necessarily be completely audible, but it's definitely felt in the song.
The outro is fun because it's kind of the last little jab at the song. It's heavy, it has a lot of attitude. I'm screaming a lot in it. And even the scream is really neat because it's layered. And so you have two screams. You have a scream that is kind of more of a shout, and then you have more of your traditional scream as well. And to add to the tension, I put some octave guitar on it, so it's just madness happening. Thanks for watching. You can go to noticestore.com for our latest merch or click right here for another video. Attention feeds the public needs. Ignore the words.